Yeah. Yeah. I'm down for the mission, yeah, I want that spot. Ride for my niggas, that's about that guap. If my heart's in the prison, I'ma break that lock. Pay close attention, cause it's not that hard, yeah. What you doing? You get money, I'm sure you probably thinking what a question. I'm sure you probably thinking you'd invest it. Then you get it, then you spend it reckless. Then you probably thinking fuck the system. Then you down and start becoming distant. Light is flipping and you thinking you up and away. What can I say? Better the stakes, you better stay down. People will change, you gotta face it, you better stay down. You in the race, setting your pace, you better stay down. I've been at a disconnect, now I'm sharing all my views. I've been sharing all my views cause I really wanna know if they the truth. I done made some hit and runs, talking one turn to two. So I told him my intentions, so I told him all the truth. I told him, think the nice guy died quick, I think I want him back. Mind fixed on the idea that nice guys all finish last. Heart frozen so I let him go, using logic now I want him back. All the chicks that I was hitting running when they ring, so I did the sonic dash. I believe in real commitment, how difficult is that? Girls say miss me with commitment, so I hit him with a dash. Why away, yo? Why away, yo? Why away, yo? Why away,
See, I've been quiet for a while. It's been a rough couple months. Things have been working out. Even thought about giving up. But my skin's too tough, and my smile so smug. Cause I know tough times don't last, only real niggas do. That's my whole 2020 mood. You can cry river if you want, but tears manifest fears. And no respect from your peers. Nope, not a single tear. It's so sad, but it's facts. And let me run you another fact. See, employment's a trap, was caught in the trap, but slipped through the crack. Those still employed, I don't mean to brag. You don't need a job, just stack up your racks. That's just a fact, but I understand. See, we've been programmed to work for the man, that ain't my plan, no. From 9 to 5, bruh, I Sonic Dash. The corporate life, bruh, I Sonic Dash. Wedding rings, bruh, I Sonic Dash. Cause love is cool, but it just don't last. When I feel that, I Sonic Dash. Hook me up, bruh, I pay you back. When I hear that, I Sonic Dash. Love yourself, but never chase romance. Heart and soul is in a whiskey glass. Independent, but we're so advanced. When you can, always take a chance. And Ty, homie, thank you for this track. See, you my only competition. And any other rapper kiss my ass. Trust, homie, that I got your back. Our friendship will always last, cause I know you got so much class. I ain't saying that to gas you up, I'm saying that shit to gain your trust. So any track where you call me up, trust I'm gonna fuck shit up. Foot down, I ain't letting up. They drop the ball, then I pick it up. Got a blunt, better light it up. But I stay down for my mission. I got a condition, was in a remission, but now Genie's back just to fuck up your systems. Yeah, sure.
Whoa, 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 hey. Whoa, whoa, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What can I say? Better to stay, you better stay down. People will change, you gotta face it, you better stay down. You in the race, setting your pace, you better stay down.
Man, I don't know if it's just me, man, or my connection to that song, but that just gave me like young goosebumps, man. Like this joined a classic, man. Like this is actually a track that comes off my good friend Tyrics' latest album called We Want More. This track in particular is called Dash. Man, this is a real classic, man. Like Ty knows, man. Like this track hit me like in a deep place, cause like when he sent it to me, we worked on this track like last year, and so when he sent it to me, I was going through like a bit of a case of the writer's block, you know, where I wasn't feeling too inspired. Yeah, man, that was it, you know. I just wasn't feeling too inspired. And a lot of things were going on in my life, to be totally honest, you know. So when he sent me this track, man, he just got me like out of a slumber. And
well, the rest is history, right? The rest is history, man. And I'll always just thank the homie for that track, man. So, yeah, man, as I say, this is from the homie's album, We Want More, a track called Dash. But anyway, man, welcome to the MSM Podcast. I'm so happy to be doing this episode because, like this is the Money Sports Music Podcast, right? And one thing that I haven't done, to my discredit, is do a money episode. And we've done sports. We've done a whole lot of sports. We've done some music episodes. But yeah, man, I just felt like this is the time to do a money episode, particularly because something happened to me this week that I wanted to share with you guys and actually get your opinion on it, man. So this is where the money side of things is gonna come in. For those of y'all who didn't tune in when I just gave an intro of how I'm going to be breaking things down, is that in terms of my money segment, I call that clever spender, right? Like, that's clever spender. Just because a big part of this segment, when I created the MSM podcast, this segment was really like a reflectionary or a reflective type segment where it was just meant for me to share some of my ups and downs when it came to my journey with handling money and being more financially literate and handling my funds better, etc., right? So initially, when I got my first job or when I started working, like from the bat, right? One of the biggest challenges that I faced is that I was so reckless with my money. So obviously I told myself that, look, man, now that you know better, do better, right? And I must say, I've become a bit better at handling my money than I have been in years past, So obviously when I realized that I've become a bit better at handling my money and I do make somewhat better financial decisions, let's say somewhat, and seeing that is the case, I just thought, like, maybe it would be good to share some of my journeys or share some of my truths and experiences, and hopefully that could minister to one of you guys. And I think minister is a very strong word, but yeah, I'm hoping that one of you guys might be able to relate and just be able to be like, yo, man, thank you for that life hack or for that lesson, because I would have never really thought it, or I knew that but I never considered it. So that's why I created this podcast. And further than that, don't get it twisted. When it comes to money, I'm not like I don't have it all figured out. The long and short of it, I don't have it all figured out. I am no Warren Buffett by no stretch of the imagination, right? I'm just a normal guy. It's just I go through challenges like everybody else. I learn to overcome eventually, but for most parts, those challenges whoop my ass, And that was the case for money as well, man. Like I say, when I started working, I earned about $7,000 with commission. So my first job was a sales job. So and I made commission in my first couple of months. So I'd say that like my starting salary was in and around $10,000, $11,000 or so, and I was about 21, 22 at the time, and I was just so immature at the time, man. So the first thing I did, I just bought sneakers. I was a heavy drinker at the time, so I'd constantly be going out and drinking. I had a girlfriend at the time who really didn't help, man. Like, oh my goodness, she did not help at all, So a lot of the time my money was going out to her as well, like funding our dates and all of that good stuff, Yeah, man, and I just really didn't know how to handle my money. So I'd have this thing where I'd get paid on the month end, right? 2 weeks in, I'm broke as shit. I need to borrow money for transport to navigate going back to work the next couple of days and stuff, and I'd have to borrow money. And then obviously with borrowing money, the fuck up in it is that you borrow money today, like now you need it, right? So you need it badly, so you borrow it. And then next month, when the month starts and you get your money, you have to deduct that money same time. So you kind of starting your salary on a bit of a deficit, And what was worse at that time, I was borrowing money from a guy. for all intents and purposes, he is a loan shark, right? But he didn't have loan shark tendencies in the sense of having bouncers around him, breaking kneecaps and all of that shit, you know. He was a chilled guy. He was somebody I worked with, but he still had his rules. Like, if you borrow money from him, you have to pay him back with 50% interest. So if you borrow $100, you have to pay him back $150, you know? So with him, I'd always start my month off on a deficit because I'd borrow money the month before or on that particular month. And then when the new month starts or after payday, I have to subtract his money first, you know? And I must say, man, that would always just mess me over big time. And like I said, because my job was based on earnings with commissions and whatever, I started off doing really well at that particular job and commission was good and all of that good stuff. And then it kind of subsided a little bit and I wasn't making as much money at the time. So then came the other fuck up that now my salary isn't what it used to be. So now if I'm starting off on the back foot with this guy and I have to pay him and all that shit, now I'm paying him from less. So inevitably I'm going to need to borrow again. And it just became a very vicious cycle, you know? And yeah, man, it just led me to a point in my life where I was always like kind of playing catch up, you know? But then I finally paid him off. Like I finally paid him off. Man, this is such a beautiful song, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, man, I finally paid him off, right? And when I did, I had a clean slate, and I told myself, bruh, no more borrowing money, none of that none of that nonsense, you know. And what was funny is at that time I was starting a new job as well, you know. So I told myself, okay, new job, new challenges, new whatever, you know. So, but the one thing is we don't borrow money, right? That was like the thing that I was very stern on. And it wasn't long, man. Like I think 2-3 months in, 4 months in or so, I was back and I was borrowing money again, you know. And this is so hard for me to like. I'm just talking very casually, but this is really hard for me to admit these truths, man, because not a lot of people know this except me and him. You know. But anyway, yeah, so I borrowed money again and whatever, and I fell back into the cycle, man. And it just became really vicious again. Yet again, it was the same thing, you know, earning good money. And at that time, that was a sales job as well. So, you know, it was also very commission based, and I really started doing my thing, earning that commission. But I fell into the same bad habits, man. And what's funny is, the first month, I remember when I made my commission, I paid him. I was like, yo, bruh, I'm done with you. But I think it was like 4 or 5 months down after that, after I paid him, after like my first few months making commission at a new job. So you see, there's kind of a trend here that I've been following, man. So yeah, then I got a new job, and then at that new job, I got commission my first month, and I remember just paying him off because I made good commission. So I paid him off, and I was like, bruh, I don't ever want to use your services again, basically, you know. Because, you know, it was just killing me, the fact that I was always starting my month off on the back foot, then I have to borrow. So basically I was living this thing where I'm borrowing just to pay off and borrowing just to pay off, and it was hand to mouth type nonsense. And what was crazy is, even when I was earning more, I wouldn't even realize that, or I wouldn't notice, or rather I wouldn't live like I'm earning more, purely because my funds, you know, they go to that particular person, you know. And I remember in certain months I'd make like big loans, you know. I remember in a particular month I needed to borrow like $2,000 and all of that nonsense, you know. So you know, some months were heavy, man. I'd have to pay the guy back like $3,000 or whatever. So you can only imagine how on the back foot I am starting a new month, having to pay somebody $3,000 and whatever. Then obviously you have to borrow again. It was bad. So anyway, I paid him off, but it wasn't long, man. Actually, it was quite long. Let me be kind to myself a bit, you know, and be honest. It was a bit long. That new job I got in February. So I was training for the whole month of March, right? I was in training. So my first official sales month was the month of April. So that month end of April, so basically the beginning of May, if you will, I paid him off. I think let me try to get my numbers straight. I think it was November or December when I went back to him, So I took about a 6-7 month hiatus, just like not using his services or whatever, and it felt pretty good not having to pay him like that and whatever. But then I fell back into those habits, man. And so it was really bad, man. But anyway, I came out on the other side and whatever. And like I'm saying, I have made my fair share of mistakes when it comes to money. But because I think I'm in a good position to sort of drop game or give knowledge or give gems in terms of how to use your money more effectively, purely because I fucked up so monumentally, like my mess ups with money were just monumental, man. Like I just made so many mistakes, and but now that I'm older, I think I've learned, and in a very, very weird way. I wasn't saying it at the time. Trust me, I was not saying it at the time. But in a very weird way, I'm so thankful for all those mistakes, all those errors, because they've helped to mold me and they've placed me here. And now that I'm working and whatever, I have become so astute with my finances. Like literally yesterday, I bought like 2 extra journals on top of the 3 that I already have, and like it's so crazy, man, because like I've got like 2 journals for budgeting. So one is for budgeting, as in budgeting the day-to-day expenses. I note down how much I spent in a day, etc. Things of that nature. It's more on a day-to-day basis. It's more of a it's a journal, right? It's a financial diary of mine, or a financial journal that I keep, right? And then the other pad is meant to be a finance book where I write down things that are goals. So for example, one of the goals that are there is to buy podcast equipment, so I'd put down how much that would cost me. I'd break it down realistically, like how much would that need me to save up to get it, or can I do a lay-by option for that? If so, let's write it down. How many months is that lay-by gonna take me? Let's break it down in terms of the months. If it's like a vacation, a trip, which is something that is on the agenda, but I don't think it will happen this year, but more so for next year. But anyway, and a vacation, rather a trip, right? I'd put how much that would cost me, break it down, etc. So that journal is more about that, and I had to get those 2 journals because they keep me, they show me the truth. Number one, this is the journal, the one that I say is like an everyday journal. I feel like that is like my walking, talking bank statement. You know what I mean? Like it's a walking, talking bank statement, because I constantly have to reflect on it, and I make it like a task to write down what I did, because it's so easy to not, like to just overlook it. And I feel like the minute I do, because when I started this habit, or when I started this practice, it wasn't as smooth, like day 1 I'd write, day 2 I'd write, day 3, 4, 5 I wouldn't, day 6 I'd write, you know what I mean? And it became a bit of a mess, and that's why I had to buy the extra notebook, so that I know, okay, this one is dedicated for and what was wrong at the time is that I would do day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, maybe skip a few days. When I do skip a few days, because there's a blank space on that page or whatever, when I start writing music, that's some other page I use, so it was very flawed, my system, so in one book you'd have lyrics, you'd have notes, and you'd have like my actual journaling, so it just wasn't working, so I just had to buy these extra ones, so yeah, man, I just feel like you do need a level of discipline to live a financially sound life, and what I'm trying to say by a financially sound life is that you can be earning peanuts, man, and yet still be able to make certain moves, as long as as long as, number one, you're honest with your finances. Because I feel like a lot of us, we sort of shy away. Or maybe, let me speak from my perspective. I can't attest to everybody, but a lot of us are very shy to face up to our finances and to do the work that is required to be in a better financial position, right? And by this, what I mean is that I had a thing where I just didn't like to look at my bank statement. I just wouldn't want to do it. It's like, why bother? You know what I mean? That's number one. Why freaking bother? It's happened. There's nothing I can do about it. So it's gone. Let's just go into the new month and whatever, right? But see, the beauty of having your bank statement and reflecting on it, and these are lessons that I had to learn, and I wish I knew them earlier. It's a pity, but I have learned them now and I do apply them now, but the beauty of downloading your bank statement or getting it printed or whatever is that then you can start to see. Like, for example, let me tell you something. This is something that practically happened last month. I made a lot of withdrawals using like third-party banks, like not using my bank, right? Because like maybe it was out of convenience or whatever the case may be, right? And I know there's a charge that they apply. To be honest, I don't know how much the charge is, but I know that there is some sort of a charge, right? Now, because of this practice of reflecting and looking at my bank statement, I looked at my bank statement and I saw how much all of those extra bank charges accumulated to, and they accumulated to circa it wasn't 200, I'm exaggerating. Yeah, that's too much. That I think they got up to about 130 odd. And I know that reflects very poorly on me in terms of doing these withdrawals at these third-party banks. But I mean, that's not the point. The point is that 130 is a lot of money, man, and that 130 could have been used for something else in the grander scheme of things. To think that it went to bank charges because of that. Now, this month, when I realized that, I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen again. That's number one, that's just not going to happen. So I know in a perfect world, you'd always have enough cash. You'd always, in a perfect world. But of course, we don't live in a perfect world. So I do understand that you will have situations where sometimes, you're using a different bank, etc., or that's the only one that's available, etc., right? But now there's this game or this thing that I'm trying to do with myself where, number one, when you leave the house, always make sure you got enough cash for that day, right? Sorry. Obviously, you're going to need to have your card on you because you just never know. Life happens that way. You just never know, right? But then what I've taught myself is that count how many times you use those other banks. So my limit is 5. I can't do more than 5 outside withdrawals, away withdrawals, I call them, like you can't do more than 5, so that way, okay, look, circa my bank charges, if on a worst case scenario on a month, will accumulate to about 60-70 rand. And this is the importance about looking at your bank statement, because then you'll actually know how much those charges accumulate to. And in my case, they accumulate, like they charge about 10 rand 60 cents, I think. So I mean, that was about 13 withdrawals or something that accumulated to that 130 odd, so in this case, okay, look, worst case scenario, I'll only pay about 50 bucks to my external bank charges and whatever, so at least now okay, I can't go past that. So if you're at your 5th withdrawal, then you just gotta have the discipline to say, okay, whatever it takes, I'm not gonna withdraw from a third party bank. I'm gonna use my bank, or I'm gonna withdraw at a till, at a Pick and Pay, a Checkers, or a Spar, whatever the case may be, So these are just those little things that can help you, that just go a long way when it comes to looking at your bank statement, And I feel like that's something, like, as I'm saying, I used to shy away a lot from, but since I've started to actually look and engage with my bank statement, it has just taken me so far, man. And I guess this brings me to my to the point of the podcast. I know it's kind of weird to only state the topic now, considering that we've covered so much already, and I'm just gonna cover it in passing, really, or rather, this is why my feature or the reason why I brought up this podcast or this episode today is because I believe it's Sanlam have introduced an app called 22/7. And this app, man, like initially I was very, very skeptical, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very, very skeptical about this app, man. But look, man, if I'm being honest, this app is pretty good, right? Like I said, it's made by Sanlam. And like for me to find it, funny enough, I was like actually just checking on YouTube. I was just like doing my thing on YouTube and whatever. I was checking the Joe Rogan podcast experience, which I absolutely love. So I was just checking that out, and then a YouTube ad popped up, and it was 22/7, like, and I'm thinking, okay, what's this? And then you know how YouTube goes. You see the ad, and you're like, okay, it's a pretty exciting initiative that they came up with, So now you're just thinking to yourself, okay, but what's the catch? Like with apps like this, there's always a catch. What do you all gain from helping me so much, man? And from what I can see, 22/7 is legit, man. It's really, really legit, man. I've used it and I'm using it. So what it does, right, 22/7, is that it basically creates a like how I said I've got a financial journal. It creates that for you, where basically it shows all your expenditure, everything. So number one, when you create an account on 22/7, you basically create an account, your name, details, etc. Then you actually like load your bank onto it, the bank where you receive your salary. And now what it will do is obviously it will show you how much your salary is. And then once you start your spending or your expenditure begins, it will then actually start compartmentalizing your spending so that you see where are your funds going, where is this going. You know what I mean? Like it literally compartmentalizes your spending. And I just feel like as us young people, this is something we could jump on for real. If anything, take away this from my episode. Don't borrow. Or don't be a borrower of money, because that can just lead you off on a back foot already. But the main thing is also just to look at this 22/7 app, man. Trust me, it's not like I've been approached to promo this app or anything. It's just that I'm an active user and I've seen its benefits. It's not that by using it I've been saving X amount of money since I started using it. It's nothing like that. It's just to say that since I've used it, I'm more cognizant of where my funds are going, and therefore it's making me contemplate, like, do I want to spend on that? Considering that this is my financial goal, considering that this is, you know what I mean? Like, so I've become very astute because of that app. Because like I'm saying, man, with being honest with yourself when it comes to your finances, it goes such a long way, man. Because a lot of the time, like, we sort of want to push things under the rug. Like, okay, I know I need to pay that bill, but let me not pay it this month. I'll see it next month. Let me just use my money and then you buy something that, is more pertinent to you, And look, man, it takes a lot of discipline. I, for one, can say that I'm still learning. I can't even say that I've mastered it. I still fall to temptations where I spend on things that I know I shouldn't necessarily be spending on, or I buy too much or spend too much on certain things. I know I still fall victim to it, but as I'm saying, I've just become way more cognizant about it, and I'm trying to make a thing about it. So, man, Clever Spender is the segment where I just want all of us to share, man. Like, just help us. Like, help us. Like, I'm trying to help the youngins out here in terms of being more cognizant, like I'm saying, like using your bank statement as your best friend to see where your spending habits are going, and etc. that's my form of helping. But I'd love to hear what some of you guys do, like when it comes to aiding in your cause to use your money better. Do you save? Do you budget? How do you budget? Do you budget with a journal like I do? Do you have an app like 22/7? Do you do that like off mind? Like, do you just calculate everything? Okay, like now I probably should have like $1,000 in my wallet. You know what I mean? Like, do you do it that way? Like, I just love to hear some of your guys' thoughts, experiences, and how you navigate these very tricky waters, man, because that is something that I'd love to hear about. We're gonna be doing way more episodes like this, man, where I just drop some of my knowledge. I'm gonna be having a few guests over for this particular segment, just because, like I said, I don't feel like this should be a one-dimensional platform where I only speak from my perspective. I'd love to hear how you guys navigated these waters, and yeah, just to learn from you guys, man. I want this particular segment, like I want all the segments to be interactive, but this one in particular, this is the one that I want all of us to just have conversations around this and improve one another, man, because at the end of the day, we can't do it alone, right? You can't make all the mistakes, and my mom always says this. She's like, dude, you can't live, you'll never live long enough in life to make all the mistakes. Make some mistakes, but then learn from other people's mistakes. And I'd like to teach you guys as much from my mistakes as possible. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, as I said. And yeah, man, way more clever spender episodes gonna be coming to you. Also, I wanted just to address something, man. There's this there are a few episodes that I've been working on, like visual based, that is, right, that are on the back burner, and I'm gonna be like uploading them this coming week. I don't know about all of them, but definitely one. Because I just feel like I've been promising that I'd drop one, and I still haven't, but I've been holding on to them. But if you're a content creator, the process of post-production and whatever, it's not the quickest process, and I feel like I'm still learning these things. A lot of what I'm doing is very new to me. The one thing that I can say isn't new to me when it comes to podcasting is just talking, and recording, really, because that I do with my music a lot, and I've done a lot. But to be honest, with podcasting and all of it is still very new to me. So I'm still adjusting to my role. I'm still learning that, okay, certain things work on a certain timeline, and I can't do certain things. I can't get out. You know what I mean? Like, all of it is still coming to me, and it's gonna take some time. But once I've got it like locked down, y'all are gonna see there's definitely gonna be massive improvements. And I'm talking like massive improvements, but of course I'm not naive, and I know that it's gonna take some time, and I've been honest with myself to that extent, in that I know it's gonna take some time. But once I do crack that Da Vinci Code, it's over, man. It's over. But man, I really did enjoy creating this episode. I really would love to hear your guys' thoughts on everything that I just mentioned. How it is that you guys save, how it is that you guys budget. Do you budget? What are some of your stories as it pertains to your journeys with money and stuff like that? I'd really just love to hear from you guys. But as ever, thank you so much for the support. And yeah, man, new episodes coming soon. You already know. Other than that, man, peace, love, and prosperity. See you soon, man. Peace.